Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very important topic related to reactive form, where we will see how to create a reactive form with a button to submit your entire form data. Okay, so I'm sure this is a topic which will be helpful for you, because later in the upcoming session we will also talk about how we can perform the validations for at the time of data submission. So before that we should know at least the basic stuff. That's why we are going to cover this session, where we will see how to submit the form array data. Okay, so by the end of the session you will be able to understand the syntax structure that we are supposed to follow to submit the form array data. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released session first, because they all are in proper sequencing. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for timing we are just mainly focusing on how to create reactive form in Angular, how to submit the form array data. Okay, alright. So now, and one more thing, for the detailed content you can also refer the Sharmit digital coursebook, which is freely available in the description box. So there you will find more than 3000 plus free resources, which is available in both Hindi as well as English language. So without any language barrier you can consume the content, and you can also ask the question if there is anything related to the topics or maybe the playlist. Okay, alright, so let's get started. Here you can see, firstly I have noted down the main heading that shows Angular course by Sharmit, and then we have second heading that shows reactive form in Angular, submit form array data. Now before designing and before discussing this form array part, I'll tell you the requirement, and once requirement is clear then we will define the prerequisites, and then we will design the actual form. Okay, so let's talk about the requirement. Requirement is very simple and straightforward. Firstly we need to create one form where we will provide one button to add a skill, which will allow user to add the input field, and there should be one button which will allow user to submit the form array data. Okay, so these are the two buttons that are mandatory for this example at least. Now according to this requirement we will go ahead and design the things. So as I mentioned, before discussing this HTML part, let's go to app.component.ts file. Here you can see we have this form array part. Okay, so let's go to this import array, and inside this import array we will define all the required stuff like a reactive form module. So this will allow us to import this will allow us to create the reactive form. Then we have nj for Angular conditional statement. So if you want to add the conditional statement, you will use this. Then we have ng for the for loop, JSON pipe for the JSON data. Okay, then next we have export class app component. So you can add here user form, then a constructor. Inside a constructor we will write here private fb form builder, then this dot user form, this dot fb group skills this dot fb array. So what is this fb? Fb is nothing but a form builder. So that's why I told you to firstly check out the previous session. There we have talked about the form builder in detail, like what it is, why we use it, right? Now here you can see we have skills, which is for storing the values in forms of array, skill array. Okay, then we have getter method. So get skills, return this dot user form dot get skills as form array. So what it will do, it will return the skills. This method is just for that. Okay, next we have this add skill method, which we will use to add the skills to the existing form array. Okay, so here you can see we have add skill method. So this dot skills dot push this dot fb control blank Validators.required. That means here with this method we can insert the value. At the same time we are validating that it should not be blank, there should be some value in it. If some value is in it, then it will allow you to submit the data, otherwise it will throw the error message. Clear? Perfect. Now next we have a submit form. So this method is mainly used to submit the entire form data. So here we are just checking for the basic thing, like if this dot user form dot invalid is if it is invalid, then in that case we will check this dot user form, we will mark this dot user form dot mark all as touched. So what it will do, like if any of the field is returning true for invalid, that means if any of the field is invalid, then in that case it will mark all the field as touched and then simply return from it. Clear? So what it will do, it will allow us allow the program to validate all the fields together. Fine. Otherwise what it will do, it will simply console the message that submitted data and then the this dot user form dot value. So whatever value we have submitted through this array will be populated to the console, so that we can verify that yes, this form data is submitted. Clear? Perfect. Now let's go to app.component.html file. Here you can see firstly I have noted down this like headings part we have already discussed. So let's see how we have designed the form. So firstly we have created a form here. Form group is user form and the submit is submit method. Okay, so what it will do, it will execute this submit method. So whenever we are using submit button inside a form, it will be processed, that button will process this method only. Okay, then we have div for form array name skills. Inside this we have another div where ng for is let skill of skills dot controls let I equals to index. So what basically it will do, it will create this div and iterate it for every skill of skills dot control, okay, one by one, and here I is considered as a index. Then this is the input field, form control name equal I, placeholder enter skill, and then we have one div. So here I'm checking for the validation error, because we know that if there is any issue, like we have added the validation for required, so if values are not provided properly, then in that case we will use this statement, conditional statement. So here I'm checking if skill dot invalid and skill dot touched style is color red, then in that case we will show the message as skill is required. So basically we are checking if it is invalid or touched, and touched we are doing mark touched, right, mark all touched. So if both conditions are true, then in that case we will set the style color as red and message would be skill is required. Okay, then we have two br tags, div close, then one method, button, type button, click add skill. So here whenever user click it will be added to the skills. Then two br lines for break line, then we have button type as submit. So this will directly execute this method, okay, submit method. Then next we have is end of form, one horizontal row, one pre tag which will allow us to preset the value. So user form dot value is JSON. Okay, all right. So yeah, these are the all things for the HTML part. Now let's execute the program and see how it works. So ng serve -- open enter. Just wait for a few seconds and then it will show you the output in the browser screen. So we can clearly see here Angular course by Tech Sharmit is a main heading, reactive form in Angular, submit form array data, one horizontal row, two buttons, one more horizontal row, and JSON format data for preview. Now I'll do the right click, inspect and console, so that I can show you that when we submit something it will be processed here. So let's say if user wants to add a skill, we can click here, let's say Angular, click one more time, React, okay, then click, and here I want to mention view, but I didn't mention anything, and directly I place my cursor outside or directly I submit it. So it will show this message, skill is required, because this is mandatory. Okay, we have added the validation and we are checking the same inside HTML. That is why we are getting this message, skill is required, from here. Okay, fine. Let's say if user provided the required value, and if we click on the submit button, so it will show that submitted data is skills array of 3, expand, 0 for Angular, 1 for React, 2 for Vue, length is 3. Okay, so yeah, this is how we will submit the data or form array data. I hope this session is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.